I still remember the exact moment I found out. Not the whole day, not the conversation, just that moment. The second my reality completely broke and everything I thought was stable started slipping away from me in silence. Because the man I had been dating for months. The man who knew the smallest details about me. The man who made me feel chosen without ever saying the word, was married, and somehow, even with my chest tight and my thoughts racing in every direction, I didn't leave before I start. If you're listening to this, subscribe to my channel. I'm just getting started and it really does make a difference. It all started on a Friday night in New York City. One of those nights where the air feels different. Where the lights reflect off the streets in a way that makes everything look cinematic, where people walk faster, dressed better. Like something important is about to happen. I had plans, nothing big. Just meeting a friend for drinks. I got ready slowly. Like I always do when I want to enjoy the process. I tried on more than one outfit before settling on a black dress, simple. But the kind that makes you feel confident without trying too hard. I did my makeup carefully, taking my time, music playing softly in the background. Letting myself feel excited for a normal night out. And then she canceled, last minute, work emergency. I stood there on the sidewalk, phone still in my hand. Reading the message more than once like it might change. For a moment, I thought about going home. Changing clothes, taking off my makeup, turning the night into nothing. But I was already there, already dressed. Already part of the night, so I stayed. And that decision changed everything. The bar was elegant. The kind of place with dim lighting that hides imperfections and makes everyone look a little more interesting. Soft music filled the space, low enough for conversations. Loud enough to cover silence. People looked like they belonged there. Like they had done this 100 times before. I didn't, not at first. I sat at the bar and ordered a drink. Trying to look comfortable, trying to blend in. I watched the bartender move with precision. Glasses clinking, bottles reflecting light. I watched people around me, couples leaning in close. Friends laughing too loudly, someone checking their reflection in their phone. And I tried not to feel alone. Then I heard it. Is this seat taken? I looked up and there he was. Confident without being loud, well dressed but not in a way that felt forced. Calm in a way that made everything around him feel quieter. Like he didn't need the room, but the room noticed him anyway. Now it is, I said. He smiled. Like he appreciated the answer, and sat down beside me. He ordered a whiskey without even looking at the menu. Like he had been there before, like he always knew what he wanted. That should have told me something, but I wasn't paying attention to things like that back then. His name was Daniel, and talking to him felt easy, too easy. There was no awkward pause, no searching for words. It felt like stepping into the middle of a conversation we had already been having somewhere else. He asked questions and actually listened to the answers. Not just waiting for his turn to speak, but paying attention in a way that made me feel seen. Within minutes we were laughing, the kind of laughter that comes naturally. Without effort. Time blurred, the noise of the bar faded into the background. At some point I noticed my glass was empty. Before I could even say anything he was already signaling for another. When I reached for my purse, he gently stopped my hand. I've got it. There was something in the way he said it, not controlling, not performative. Just certain, and I let him. That was the beginning. After that night things moved fast. Good morning texts that arrived before I was fully awake. Calls late at night that stretched longer than they should have. Conversations that made hours disappear without warning. He took me to places I had never been before. Restaurants with views of the city, quiet corners in expensive hotels. Weekends that felt like small escapes from reality. He was attentive, generous, present, at least when he was there. Because that's the part one tried not to question. He wasn't always there, sometimes he disappeared. A meeting that ran late, a last-minute trip. Family obligations that came up without warning. And every time the explanation sounded reasonable enough to believe. There was always just enough truth in it to keep me from asking more. But there was something else, something small but constant. I never met anyone from his life. No friends, no family, no accidental run-ins. No stories that led to real names or real places. Whenever I asked, especially about his mom, he gave the same answer. My mom is still close to my ex. She hasn't moved on. I just want to protect you from that, and I believed him. Because when everything feels right, you learn to ignore the things that don't. Months passed like that, until one night I finally told my friend. We were sitting on her couch, shoes off, wine glasses in hand. Talking about everything we hadn't had time to say lately. She complained that I had disappeared, so I told her, I'm dating someone. She lit up immediately. Show me. I hesitated for a second. Something in me paused, like it already knew. Then I handed her my phone. She looked at the picture. And her expression changed instantly. That's my boss. My stomach dropped so fast it felt like the room shifted. What? She looked at me. Serious now. He's married. The words landed slowly, and he has 2 kids. That moment stretched in a way I can't fully explain. Everything connected at once, the distance, the excuses. The gaps I chose not to look at too closely. It all made sense. I went home that night expecting to cry, to fall apart, to feel something overwhelming. But I didn't, I just sat there in silence, replaying everything with this new version of the truth. And the next morning when his message appeared on my phone, "Good morning," I replied, like nothing had happened. But everything had changed. I stayed, just not for the same reasons anymore. I started asking for things, small things at first. Things that didn't feel too serious. Then bigger ones, help with my student loans. A car, an apartment, every time he said yes. No hesitation, no resistance. Almost like saying no wasn't an option, so I kept going. I told him I wanted to start a business, he funded it, every part of it. Without asking questions, and I made it work. I built something real out of something that started as a lie. And when my business finally started making money, when I realized I could stand on my own without him, something shifted again. I didn't need him anymore. But I still wasn't done, because while all of this was happening, I kept everything: messages, photos, proof of every promise, every contradiction, every lie hidden between truths. And one night, without warning, without giving myself time to rethink it, I sent it all to his wife. He called immediately, again and again, his name lighting up my phone over and over, like urgency could undo what I had done. Messages started coming in: anger, panic, desperation. But I didn't answer. I blocked him. And just like that he was gone, because that night, the one where my friend canceled and I almost went home, I thought I had lost something, but in reality, that was the night my life began to change. And don't forget to subscribe.